Get ready, boys. Strap one on. It's time for Pedal to the Metal with the Eroica and Heil68. Hey, welcome System Wars. Welcome to another edition of Pedal to the Metal. Heil68 here, welcoming you. We also have the co-host with us here, the Eroica. What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing swell, thank you. Although I am looking for a new hobby. Hope I can find one soon. With a great suggestion.
I heard, and perusing the System Wars forums, there's been a lot of nice feedback. For me, and for this next guest that I have here, Mr. Animal-Mother.
Hey, guys. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No.
I'm back, and I want to say thank you to everybody in the Pedal to the Metal thread for being so kind and generous in such a harsh and turbulent place.
Absolutely. We'd like to also remind people that if they want to be on the podcast, they can message either Eroica or me, and we'd put you on the list to get down. We have quite a few that want to be on, which is good to see, and we appreciate all our listeners.
Absolutely, and we are actively working on rehabilitating Heil on the forums so that he can make a single friend.
I'm going to start flogging him once a week, too.
Ooh. Whips and chains, baby.
No. You pedal to the metal and strap it on. I don't know what you mean. I don't want to strap anything on. Anything strapped on.
Before we get too out of control here, we have additional guest with us here today. It's BPoole, everybody. So welcome to the show, man.
What's going on, System Wars? It's BPoole, and I like to play video games. Sometimes I even talk about them.
You are in the right place, my friend.
It seems to be. I'd like to thank you guys for having me on here.
So BPoole, I got a quick question for you. How are you? How are you taking to this whole new System Wars podcast initiative? I mean, are you digging it, or are you, what are your feelings?
I like it. I mean, like it was discussed in the thread, it kind of breaks the barriers of anonymity, and instead of just we can set our fanboyism and our online personas aside, and really just kind of portray our online personalities in real life.
Well, I was going to say I think that's kind of the goal that we're trying to put together here with this podcast is that we do break down a little of that anonymity, and we get to know each other a little bit more as a community. And you know what? Like, that doesn't mean that we can't still argue and debate and flame and troll each other, but I don't know. I think it's kind of a fun thing, so I hope everyone keeps listening.
Yeah.
So I bought Lego City Undercover, which I probably won't play anytime soon. I bought Monster Hunter 3, Tree Ultimate, and I bought Tomb Raider for my Xbox. God knows when I'll play those, but... I
actually went there to pick up my Best Buy to pick up my Lego City Undercover because I had some certificates from Best Buy, and they had Darksiders 2 for $20.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, I think Nintendo, kind of like what we talked about a couple weeks ago on the last podcast, was... They have the bullets in their chamber to at least make the system profitable. So, I mean, all the doomsday threads and all the nasty Nintendo talk you want to go through, I still think that the Wii U is at least going to come out in the black. So,
yeah, it will.
Didn't they say this time that this was the first time Nintendo launched a console where they wouldn't be profiting on the hardware? I think they said if you buy the console in one game, they've made a profit at that point.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, which is, you're not going to buy the console and not buy a game, and that's just ridiculous.
And this is Microsoft, of course.
Well, there are no games. So
yeah, it's pretty easy.
That's what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Does Nintendo really know how they're marketing the thing? Do I buy the controller? Do I buy the whole thing? Like, what do I do? And that's the problem. Stuck with brand name, because it was,
I think
Nintendo's.
I think a real big telling sign is if you go into a GameStop and look at their section. I mean, it's smaller than the PC section, and that's saying something.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's
non-existent,
I think it's like literally a 2-foot shelf with four 2-foot shelves. When I was in there last time, it's like non-existent. All right, so we got to pay some bills. We'll be back right after these messages.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down. I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Last night, I crapped in my bed and pissed in the closet. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Put the foot to the floor, turn it up to 11, or get the out. Pedal to the metal.
So we brought BPoole on to Pedal to the Metal today for a lot of reasons. Number one, he is a very established and highly reputable community member on System Wars. I think a lot of people.
Depends who you ask. But,
That's very true. That's very true. But to me, he's a highly reputable member of the System Wars community, and he definitely has very strong roots in PC gaming. And I feel like we've given a lot of love to Sony, and we've given a little love to Microsoft, and we've given a little love to Nintendo over the past couple podcasts. But we want to have a PC podcast, or at least talk a lot about the PC. So, for many reasons, we brought BPoole on the show tonight to chat a little with the System Wars community and maybe get into the heart of some of the issues and some of the great things and some of the detractors about PC gaming. So, BPoole, we want to ask you, what do you think about the current state of PC gaming? What do you think some of the strengths, some of the weaknesses are? Let's get into it. We want to hear from you.
All right. Well, as far as strong roots in PC, I've only been doing that for about 2 years, so I'm still fairly new to it. But I mean, I've pretty much gamed on it exclusively for the past 2 years, so I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going on the platform. But
Can I interject for just a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and this is just out of pure curiosity, and I think it's something that the System Wars community, for those members of System Wars that have not jumped into PC gaming, I'm actually one of them, and I've been gaming for 30 years, and it's been on strictly consoles. I haven't even had the itch, really, up until recently, to go out and even look at PC gaming. What was it 2 years ago that made you fall head over heels in love with PC gaming? Why did you jump in?
Well, it was a variety of things. I mean, for starters, I'm a big fan of Bethesda's games. Oblivion's. I mean, Skyrim wasn't out at the time, but Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and then, but I had those for PS3, which were the worst versions of those games, especially New Vegas, which was literally unplayable at launch. I think it was the same on Xbox too, but
it was.
But like Fallout 3 kind of had the same issue as Skyrim did, because I had a character on there. I had, I think, like 300 hours or something ridiculous on one character. And no joke, just for me to go into a building would take like 30 to 45 seconds loading times.
Ooh.
And it was, I mean, it was 300 hours, but if you factor in all those times I'm just sitting there watching the little circle spin at the bottom of the screen, I mean, it was ridiculous. So then I came across this dude's YouTube channel who did Fallout 3 and New Vegas mods, and at that point I thought PC gaming was for nerds and neckbeards, and I mean I went pretty head over heels. I had like $1,000 budget going into it, which I have spent way more than at this point. I mean you will never see me say that PC gaming is not expensive, because I have put an unprecedented amount of money into this computer and monitors. And
I guess what I want to ask you guys, the three of you, being that you all three seem to be heavily invested in PC gaming, and maybe I'm turning this into a System Wars issue, but one of the most common themes that runs through System Wars is almost an elitist type of approach from Hermits, and maybe the judgmental look on console gamers as being not quite up on the level of PC. And we obviously know that there's a performance difference in PC based on console. But I guess what I want to ask you guys, and any one of you can answer this, at the end of the day, where do you stand on the way that you judge a console gamer who refuses to jump into PC? Do you think that they are wasting their time with consoles? Do you understand why someone would still be a console gamer given the ease of plug and play? I mean, make it a System Wars thing. Like, what? Answer the people that are console gamers that will not go to PC, and answer to the people that are PC gamers that judge those who don't.
Console games are fine.
Well, like Lowe said, if you don't game on PC, you're really a peasant. So.
Who gives a fuck though? You're still at the end of the day, when I play Tomb Raider on my PC and I play Tomb Raider on my Xbox, both people are getting the same experience. One is getting one with a higher frame rate and a bit better graphics. One's not. That's it.
So one is driving a Ford. If one's driving a Ford Mustang and the other one's driving a Ferrari,
they still get you to the same place.
Gotcha.
I would just to play a little bit of devil's advocate on that point of getting the same experience. Back to my example of Fallout with the 30 to 45 second loading times, or if we look at like Skyrim on PS3, or even like Far Cry or Crysis 2 and 3, which have frame rates that linger around 20 frames. I think personally, if I'm playing a game that I'm having to wait 45 seconds every 5 minutes, I'm not getting as good of an experience as when I click or press E that I want to go through that door. I'm in there in a second. It never breaks the immersion. I'm just always interacting with the game's world and everything. So, from that, that goes back to performance. But I think that added horsepower and performance that PC offers does in some cases give you a better overall experience just from getting sucked into the world and all that kind of stuff.
Sometimes you can get more precision controls too with mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like first-person shooters, I mix them up a little bit. I played Fear 3 with the controller, but and I found that okay. But you can definitely have more of a twitch, more faster reaction, better with the mouse and keyboard. Do you guys find that's the case too, or not?
Oh, definitely. I feel so clumsy if I play. I haven't really. I only use controllers for hack and slash and driving games, and if I rarely play a fighter. If I play an FPS with a controller now, it just feels so clumsy.
Now, how did you play?
Slow.
How did you play Tomb Raider, BPoole?
I did mouse and keyboard.
How was that? I used a controller.
I use yeah.
I thought it controlled fine. The only thing in that opening sequence, for whatever reason, there's some quick time events in there, and to react to the quick time events, you press either E or F, and it doesn't tell you which one to press.
Oh.
It just, I guess you're just supposed to know, and there's right in the beginning, there's a rock falling, and I'm like, I thought I had to click my mouse. Nope, died. Then I had to reload. And it took me 2 or 3 times just watching Laura get smashed by this boulder.
I got into PC gaming pretty much the same reason as you. I needed a new computer. Well, you didn't need a new computer, but I saw that StarCraft 2 was coming out and that Diablo 3 was coming out, and I was like, I love Blizzard games. I preferably don't like to waste my time on WoW. And I built a computer for $500. Played a lot of stuff to boot, to start with, and played a ton of stuff. And I slowly upgraded and upgraded. It was great. For
me personally, I've gamed on computers since the early '90s, and started with the Wolfenstein 3D. My buddy had it, so of course I had to run that. And I've been PC gaming ever since. I didn't even have consoles last gen. Last console I had before the PS3 and 360 were the NES system and the PS1. So I went a good long time without consoles, period. Wow. And for me, the textures, not only the textures, but the resolution is what really sets it apart. Recently I played Sleeping Dogs on PC, and I had the DX11 and the big
Super
textures,
sampling.
And it looked fantastic. And then recently I tried playing it on the 360 through GameFly because the game is so awesome. I wanted to play in the console version, and it was unplayable to me. It looks so much worse. I can't even describe it. The same thing with Hitman. I played Hitman on the computer, and the resolution, to me personally, along with the frame rate, makes it that much worth it to me because I mean it looks just infinitely better. All right, we'll be right back after these messages.
Look at that! The Hendersons are getting a new fence.
Ah, who cares? They're swingers.
I want a new fence.
We just got one 2 years ago after your parents were killed.
I want a new fence. That's it. We're never having sex again.
Need a home loan fast? At the American Bank of Los Santos, we'll help you get the debt you need to make life easier. We'll show you how to look richer and be poorer. Your home is your equity. What exactly are you saving it for? You need to impress people fast, not in 20 years. It's only a risk if you get into money troubles or the economy changes, which doesn't seem likely. We know living in the suburbs is a constant competition, where you're defined by your lawn and your siding. Call American Bank of Los Santos when you need to add a rec room addition with a jungle swing or a jacuzzi for 8. Now that the kids have moved out and have drug problems of their own, maybe it's time to install a luxury marble wet bar so you can get drunk in private. American Bank of Los Santos. Dreams take money. Why worry about tomorrow if you look inadequate today?
So, guys, we've been talking a lot about the upside of PC gaming, and I think we've all, kind of seen some examples that you guys have been talking about with, whether it's performance or, just your own personal liking to PC gaming and the benefits that you get out of it. But everything that's good also has some bad to it. So I'm going to turn this question to BPoole, and I want to know, in his opinion, and we'll all comment as we go, but what are some of the downsides to PC gaming? What are some of the weaknesses in that style of gaming?
I want to focus on things that I've had through my experience. I'm not going to be dwelling on can't play on my couch, can't use my controllers, because that's been beat to death and it's not even true. So these are going to be the things that they're actual true downsides, that there's not much damage controlling them, because it just is what it is. So for starters, obviously this is going to be the first thing, because this is in every headline right now about SimCity's always online DRM, which we also saw with Diablo 3 last year. So I think everyone knows what always online DRM is, but we saw that with Diablo 3. I think it was like error 37. People couldn't play. Do you guys recall how long that was before that was fixed?
It was like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
a couple of weeks,
2-3 weeks before.
But for me personally, I don't know if it was a time that I played, if it was just because it was late at night or the off hours, but I never got that error.
We never had an issue playing Hail. We got to play it a lot.
But I know the issue is out there. I'm not saying it didn't exist. I'm just saying from my own personal experience, I didn't get it. But it was a pretty big issue because they didn't anticipate the 3-4 million people going on at once.
Yeah. Well, I think didn't Diablo 3 sell like 10 million total?
Yeah, when it's all said and done. I think initially,
the
first
pretty
week
crazy.
or so. Yeah.
Those aren't bad numbers.
Those are especially for a PC exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another thing is I've always had this kind of mindset is other publishers see how well Diablo 3 sold, and it's, like I said, mentioned for the PC. So that was on Activision Blizzard side, and then we've got EA over on the other side saying they're stroking their whiskers saying I think we could do this too, and then they threw that on SimCity, and that's been, I would probably argue, has been even more of a disaster than Diablo was, because it's been 2 weeks now for SimCity, right?
Yeah. It was the first podcast we were recorded. That's when SimCity got to 5.0. Yeah,
it's still not fixed. I was reading into a little bit. I didn't buy the game, but there was like a mode on the game called cheetah mode, which that all your your economy and your resources, it would renew faster. So you would earn money from all your work or whatever that you did on your city, and they actually removed that feature just to ease the load on the servers and try to get more people on. So then the people that are actually playing the game have to wait. They have to wait even longer for things to happen because their game is running slower than it should be. And And then just the way the whole thing's just been handled. Like I think one of the first quotes that Maxis had said was like, "Oh, the reason this is happening is because the people are enjoying our game so much that they don't want to get off." So that's almost like a big fuck you to all the people sitting there not playing. It's like, "Oh yeah, you guys can't play because it's so good." And
I want to expand on that a little bit. I have a quote from the Maxis general manager, Lucy Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
She says, and I quote, "I'd like to say that it's not fair that the game score shouldn't be punished for a server problem, but it is fair. SimCity is an online game and critics and consumers have every right to expect a smooth experience from beginning to end. I and the Maxis team take full responsibility to deliver our promise." Now my question to everybody, even Eroica, is it ever acceptable to buy a game and not have it work out of the box?
Not acceptable.
Never. It should never even reach that point where somebody gives it a green light to put it on a shelf even if there's even a 1% chance that it's not going to play out of the box.
Within, what was it, like a week of SimCity's release, somebody had found a way that you could play offline. Mm-hmm. And Maxis was saying, "Oh, you can't play the game offline, it's impossible." But then some guy, some Joe Schmo, in God knows where, finds a way to do it and gives it to everybody.
I mean, that's the thing with
So for my money, I think Steam is one of the handful of companies that do DRM well. I mean,
yeah,
they made it painless as possible.
Well, look at all the great features that Steam gives you. You have the whole community thing. You have groups, friend lists,
free to play.
Now you can have cloud gaming. You can take your saves.
I love that. What do you call it? In-game screenshots. If you're into doing that, it's all in the same little hub. But that's another kind of problem with PC though, is that Valve made that popular, and now EA's come along, Ubisoft's come along with Uplay.
But they keep their stuff on Steam.
Well, EA doesn't, but
not EA. Ubisoft. I meant to say.
They do, but if you say you bought Far Cry 3 on Steam,
you still have to go through Uplay.
Yeah, it launches Uplay, and then you launch it again through there. So it's basically just double DRM. You still need a Uplay account to play the game. And then we also got Crytek. They want to start. I think it's called like G-Face or something stupid. They want their own. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But
I mean, even BioWare has a Cerebus. Is that how you pronounce that? Cerebus network, where you have to log into that to get the download content and other online features. That's okay with me.
You have to buy BioWare points. Oh my god!
Then there's also like the Rockstar Social Club. That's like Green Man Gaming. They have their own client called Capsule. I mean, it just gets frustrating with all these different clients and all these different sign-ins. Games for Windows Live, that's another one. You sign on the game, put in your email and all that. I mean, it's just constantly have to log into this and switch over to that. No, I want to play this game that's on this service. And
do you guys remember back to the PS1 days with Metal Gear Solid, where they had you reference the back of the CD case for a Kodak?
Oh yeah.
To advance the story. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they're always trying to make you. I mean, they're always trying to stop piracy. That's what I mean. I even remember back in the PC days where you'd have to turn to page 35 in the manual and type in the fifth word down in the second paragraph. I mean, and stuff like that. But in recent years, it's pretty cool seeing how developers. I remember the Batman one where they're putting in things that kill the game for the pirates, where
the chocobos would show up.
Yeah, and then they would try to with Batman, what it was, they would try to fly, and he would come down into a big poison ball of gas.
Yeah, and I think Serious Sam 3 did that too. They put an invincible hell demon type thing in the first level that you couldn't kill, and he would just kill the shit out of you if you pirated the game. I think that is. I mean, I'm I'm against piracy. I think I just saw this the other day because one form of DRM that Batman Arkham City also has, you can only install that game 5 times. If you uninstall it and reinstall it or whatever, you can only do that 5 times, and after that, the game is like unplayable. You'd have to buy another copy.
I think BioShock is like that too.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that BioShock had it, but they got rid of it.
Oh, really?
Because, you had to. I guess a lot of EA games and THQ games used to do this. If you bought the disc copy, you could only install that disc copy like 5 times or something before it would just not work anymore. And even with some games, just it comes with a CD key or whatever. If it'd have to go through an online server the first time you activate the game, basically. But if those servers go offline,
hopefully they would put they would take away the DRM, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's we've talked about the DRM. What other disadvantage of PC gaming is there?
Hardware stuff, would you say sometimes?
Yeah.
Hardware's acting up.
Well, the next thing I was going to go on was drivers.
Oh, perfect.
Starting back with, there's several examples with just the back when Rage launched on PC. I had that game pre-ordered, and
me too.
I'd actually pre-ordered the disc copy from GameStop because I had a bunch of credit from there. But then the day before, however it got out, I remember Ferret Gamer from System Wars. He had posted a video of showing the opening scene, and he would look and he would turn around real fast, and the game would just look abysmal. It would take like 5 seconds for the textures to load in. It was a joke. So I went and canceled my pre-order because it wasn't how long would I actually have to wait for that game to work, and not launching a game and not having it playable for your early adopters that are pre-ordering the game, I think is just unacceptable. I mean, you wouldn't buy a car that didn't work the day you bought it. You wouldn't buy a movie ticket and go in the movie and then say, "Oh, sorry, we're not playing this today."
Exactly, I agree.
That's really how Fallout New Vegas was too at launch.
Yeah, that's broken. Another one. Yeah, it's unplayable. So,
BPoole, you talked about DRM disadvantages and also disadvantages with different drivers. Is there any other detractors to PC gaming that you want to discuss?
I'm just going to touch on this one real fast. We don't need to discuss it. Backwards compatibility. People always say that PC is the best for backwards compatibility. You can play any game from any time frame. But last winter, during the Steam sale, they had Max Payne 1 and 2 on sale for like $7.50 or something. So I bought both of them, installed them because I really like Max Payne 3. Couldn't play Max Payne 1, couldn't play Max Payne 2. Looked all over for fixes, and I couldn't find anything. So that's throwing $7.50 out the window. I can't trade them in. I can't do shit. They're gonna sit in my Steam library for eternity, and I will never play those games.
I have a question. How would you feel about something like that, where it would be you have Max Payne 1 and 2, you can't play them, you're having trouble. How would you feel about a trade thing? Because I know Steam does it with unopened games.
Yeah.
But what if I was like, okay, I'll give you. I don't have Max Payne 1 and 2. I have Portal 2. Let's say you haven't played Portal 2. And I'll say I'll give you Portal 2 for Max Payne 1 and 2. How would you? I mean,
I think from a consumer side, I think that it would be great since you'd have something to do with your digital games. But from a business standpoint,
they'll never do it.
They'll never do it. You're right.
So say Max Payne 3 and Portal 2 come out on the same day. Hey, you buy this and I'll buy that. You play that and I'll play this, and then after we're done, we're just going to trade. So 2 people are interested in both those games, but now they're only going to get one sale. And then who's to say that after the second person's done, oh hey, both of us has already finished Portal 2. Here you can have this too. I mean, one copy could just be traded around indefinitely.
Yeah, where does it end?
So, well, you can't forget the hackers. So I'm gonna touch on some experiences I've had with that, and I'm gonna go back to Dark Souls for that. Shortly after release for Dark Souls, they're called trainers, which is basically like a cheat engine for the game. You can be invincible, you can get to the maximum level, or you can increase your stats without actually increasing your level. So you could be like soul level 10, but have
Animal knows about that, don't you, Animal?
But
I know a little bit.
but have 99 stats for everything.
I beat that
So
shit fair and square on the Xbox.
Anyway.
Allegedly, I used the trainer.
Anyway, go ahead.
all right, okay. So anyway, I played the game when it first, pretty much right when it launched, and everything was going fine and whatnot. But then I start, I like doing the PvP battles and all that, and especially they had that new arena mode in the expansion. But all you would get is these people coming in your game that have invincibility on, and no matter what you did, you could not kill them. And in many cases, they would just stand by where you need to go, and it's like they would just stand there like, okay, come here so I can kill you, because they could also do infinite stamina, so they could just take a heavy ass sword and just wail on you.
There's no punk buster or checks or anything.
It's when games for Windows Live. You can report them, but they don't give a fuck about that.
Wow.
So what I ended up having to do is go get that goddamn trainer. So when someone came in my world, I would go and fight them, and if I hit them and they didn't lose damage, or if they didn't take damage, it was numpad 5 to do it. I would just hit that shit. It would just make a clicking noise, and then I would just put all my guard down, let them hit me, and then I would just be like, now what? You can't kill me, and I can't kill you. How long do you want to stand here? And in many cases, they would just try to be a pain in my ass, and I would be trying to complete the level. They would just follow me around, hitting me, and even though it wouldn't do damage, it would just be an annoyance.
Is there an option to turn off invaders or not?
Well, no, there's no option. It's like a persistent world, so anybody can invade you at any point when you're human.
Yeah, but if you're in soul form,
they can't invade you.
Yeah, they can't invade you. But if you're not in soul form, like there's some NPC Black Phantoms that can invade you. They drop custom or unique armors and weapons,
special gear that you need.
Yeah, that you can't get anywhere else. So when I'm going through the game my first time, I want to be in human form as much as possible. Also because I played the game a bunch on PS3, and I was playing with my buddy in co-op. So one of us would always have to be in human form, so we were always getting invaded. So and it wasn't even like it was a couple people doing it. Like so many people would be coming in, and that they were just there to grief. And
that's just online community period, I think.
Oh yeah,
it's a tough world.
Yeah, I mean you could report them and nothing would happen. I mean, and plus they've already ruined your thing. They come in and kill you, and then you have to use your in-game humanities to do it. And then it just got to the point where you can use infinite humanity, and it's like I'm losing all this freaking humanity because these guys keep killing me because they're invincible. So now I'm going to have unlimited humanity, and then I'm cheating too. So it's like there's no way to get around it but to stoop to their level.
You know what it is about Dark Souls? I played through it on the PC too, and I put 20 hours, and I loved every minute of the game. Mm-hmm. I got invaded, and I'm not going to lie, I beat it vanilla on the Xbox, and that was a hard enough experience. So I said, let me use a trainer. Let me feel a little bit more free so I can get around and experience. And I have to admit, sometimes you get to see a portion of the world you never saw. But aside from that, the cheaters, I never ran into one person with a trainer. It was the most bizarre thing. Because you mentioned people coming in invisible and not being able to be killed. Not one person. It was always like a Mexican standoff between me and another person.
All right, BPoole. So we've heard you talk about some of the disadvantages of PC gaming, including DRM, driver issues, and you just touched on some hackers you've experienced. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, just the last one would just be the either delayed multiplats from like PS3, 360, or just not getting them at all. In which case we saw with Red Dead Redemption, there's been a huge outcry from PC gamers of wanting Red Dead Redemption on PC, but that never happened. We've got arguably the biggest game of the year this year, GTA 5, still unconfirmed for PC. We've got hack and slash games like Metal Gear Rising, no PC version of that. The newest Devil May Cry, while many people hate that, I actually really liked it, but that got a 2-week delay. I mean, that's not that much, but And then, to a lesser extent, Resident Evil 6, that was a 6-month delay.
No,
Capcom does it a lot.
Now, do you think that's because of piracy or extra development time for the PC?
I have this theory that I think they know that a lot of PC gamers own a console, and they will buy a game for a console, and then they can launch a PC version, and 6 months to a year later, and they will actually have people rebuy it. Which, in case I did that with Dark Souls. I bought the PS3 version, then it came to PC. I rebought that. Even like Battlefield wasn't delayed, but I rebought that game on PC.
I'm absolutely doing that with Grand Theft Auto. I'm not waiting 6 months to buy it. So
yes, and then when they launch, if they actually do a proper port, which they Max Payne 3 on PC was phenomenal. I mean, Rockstar did a great job with doing a solid. Yeah, I mean that was by far the definitive version of that. And that was another one. Wasn't there a gap between consoles, the console version and the PC version? I think it was about a month.
I think it was about a month. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they launch GTA 5 with all the new bells and whistles and graphics and all that kind of stuff, there's going to be several people who couldn't wait that bought it for consoles, and they're going to rebuy it for PC, plus get all the people from PC. And then there's
Will it be optimized though?
Well,
hopefully.
It can't
crap.
It can't be worse than GTA 4. But then you've got then there's also the people who if they own a console and a PC, and they can pirate the PC version for free, then they make no money at all. So I think they do that from it's obviously an advantageous decision for them because otherwise they wouldn't do it. So I think they're purposely delayed for that reason. And I mean, I don't know why they don't come at all, like, Red Dead Redemption, when there's obviously a market there for that game. But, missing out on a lot of those games or having to wait, I mean, it sucks.
I don't feel... I think it's just my own personality type. I don't know that I would be a good mix with PC gaming. I think I like that instant gratification, and hearing as many positives as you guys talked about, I heard just as many negatives to PC gaming, and I feel like there's a certain level of commitment that goes into it. Maybe not just keeping up on hardware, but also tolerating a lot of different aspects to downsides of PC gaming. And it's certainly something when I see a video of somebody playing on a PC game, or I see a buddy playing, and I sit there and I'm like, man, that looks so good. But I don't know. I think like everything else in this hobby, and maybe that's what we do the most at System Wars, is judge each other for our own personal gaming styles and our own personal preferences. But I don't know if PC gaming's for everyone, and I can see where console gaming isn't for people too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. We will return to our regularly scheduled program momentarily. Please stay tuned.
We're here live at the PS4 event, and as you can tell, the crowd's going crazy. They're 2 months away from E3, but they cannot wait for the PS4. They know it's by gamers, for gamers, and we're going to have all those world-class exclusives. What do you think, Eroica? How's it going over there at the Xbox announcement?
Well, thanks, Heil, but as you can hear at the Microsoft announcer here, there ain't really much, but I guess you really can't blame that when we had no games there, so... I don't know. I think we're going to go back to you. Your party sounds a lot more fun than this one.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like it's going on pretty bad over there. Well, we can't blame them, really, when all the excitement's over here. The whole world's crazy. Let's go in Cosmania. PS4 for life.
We expect to resume normal broadcasting shortly. Be sure to stay tuned for Jeopardy!
All right, well, we want to thank our special guest today, Mr. BPoole, for stopping by with us and chatting games, chatting consoles, chatting a lot about PC, giving us his 2 cents about the current state of gaming. And we look forward to working with him again, absolutely. We also want to say thank you to Mr. Animal-Mother for joining us and doing his thing, as always.
Always a pleasure spilling my whiskey. I'm gonna be like Johnny Carson soon enough on this. If only he could do the golf swing.
And we also want to say thank you to our co-host, Mr. Heil68 at Legendary.
Yes, thank
Wrap
you.
one
And a
off.
reminder to all people that if you want to join the podcast, to shoot either Eroica or myself email, and we'll get you on the list to join the show. We'd love to have you.
All right, sounds good. I am the Eroica, and this has been another podcast for Pedal to the Metal. We'll see you guys soon.
Later.
Bye.